y over triangle x, and this little symbol right here just means delta. It's the Greek symbol for change. So its slope is defined as the change in y over the change in x. Here's a little better slide for you to remember. Remember the rate of change and slope is the same thing, because the rate of change is how you're changing from one point on the graph to the next. Slope is the same way. Slope is the mathematical way of saying rate of change. So it's the change in y, delta y over delta x. So if you're not going to remember this, I highly recommend that you actually take notes in your composition book and just write slope is change in y over change in x. Some of you may remember or have already heard, slope is basically the same thing. Since we're talking about the change in y over the change in x, really, slope, it could also, some of your previous teacher might say that, you know what, it's the rise over the run. But really, the rise over the run is still the same thing as delta y over delta x. So a vertical change over the horizontal change, so going up and then to the right or to the left, going down and then to the right or left, that is the same thing as a rise over the run, change in y over the change in x. Okay, so that was those two previous slides was finding the rate of change on a graph. Now let's talk about finding slope or rate of change on a table. Again, remember right here that slope is the rise over the run or the change in y over the change in x. So whenever you have a t-table like this, especially a vertical t-table, the left column is usually going to be your x and your right column is going to be usually your y. So right here, pay close attention. From 4 to 7, I'm just going to make a mini little bracket. How did I get from 4 to 7? Well, that's plus 3. And then from here, on the left-hand side, another mini bracket. From 1 to 2, that's plus 1. So we can do it again. That's another plus 3, another plus 3, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. So in fact, I do have the same slope or the same rate of change each step of the way. So again, go ahead and write delta y over delta x, which equals the change in y is positive 3, and the change in x each time is positive 1. This basically means that every single time y goes up by 3, x goes up by 1. Or every time x increases by 1, y goes up by 3. And I can graph that. If you want to quickly pause this video and do this yourself, that's fine. Let's just go right ahead. Remember, slope is delta y over delta x. So from 3 to 6 plus 3. 6 to 9 is plus 3. 9 to 12 is also plus 3. So I know that's the rate of change is moving the same for y. 0 to 1 is plus 1. Plus 1. Plus 1. And unfortunately, this is the same thing as in the last slide. So again, slope is delta y over delta x. So delta y over delta x, which is equal to change in y, positive 3. Change in x, positive 1. So my slope is 3 over 1 or just 3.